Hi, thank you so much for being here. So I'm still Christmas decorating. This time I'm working on just general decor around the home. I put my mantle up last week. I'm gonna put my tree up later this week. But before I do that, I have 3 areas and they're in 3 different rooms. I normally just ignore these areas and just put something on last minute. But this time I actually wanna spend some time, make it a little bit more purposeful. And I want to sort of carry a theme throughout the house. We're painting our house right now and our house is coming together. Before, every room sort of had a different color, but now we're sort of blending everything, and I want our Christmas decorations to be a little bit more unified and carry out a theme. So what I had in mind was I love any sort of European Christmas market. I love Christmas markets in Europe. I would love to spend Christmas in Europe one year. But what I want to do is, so I want to create scenes on each table that sort of mimics I guess a more vintage, traditional, I guess maybe European. I don't know if it's more European, but definitely more traditional. I like the villages. I like that sort of like, just that quaint feeling that you get when you look at like sort of old English Christmas cards, that kind of a thing. So I want to create that kind of like a village vibe. Anyway, so let's just get started and I'll show you what I thrifted and I'll show you how I DIY'd them and upgraded them. All right, let's get going. For my first craft, I found this tree. I loved how rustic and simple it was. It fit my theme. And then I found these really cute Father Christmas figurines, and I had an idea of how to incorporate them with that tree. When I was a teacher, I always used this Elmer's glue with the sparkle. The kids loved it. And then I picked up this snow at Hobby Lobby. All right, so and I'm always picking up ornaments. I'm always picking up these trees when I thrift. All right, so to start, we're gonna need the figurines, and I'm just keeping this tree here to sort of keep it in the color scape and, just make sure I'm staying, with that kind of color. And all the colors that I'm gonna pick, that Elmer's glue and the glitter that I was gonna use, excuse me, not the glitter, the metallic paint, and the snow, which I actually didn't end up using them. I thought I would sort of glue it to these guys to give them a little bit more sheen, but I came up with another solution. All right, so what I wanna do is lighten these guys up because the room that they're going in is going to be next to my Christmas tree, and that has like a lot of blues and pinks and lighter colors, not traditional reds and greens. So I just wanted to lighten them up, and I feel like it's a little bit more modern, a little bit fresher. I know I like a traditional look, but the colors I like to play around with, even though I feel like they look vintage, but I just wanted to upgrade them, if that makes sense. I don't know, blend it modern and traditional. So what I'm doing is I'm just going around and I'm lightening them up, and you can see the direction I'm going. He's got all these pastel light colors, compared to the darker tones. So I'm going to do that for all 3 of them, and I'm just moving on, using the colors that I have in my tree and on my Christmas tree. It's the blues and the pinks and light greens, and just sort of updating these guys. And like I said, I like that they still look traditional, but they're just getting a little bit of a glow up, and I think they're looking really well. I was going to finish them off when I worked with my students. They love the glue with the glitter. I always had fun working with that. I used to just kind of apply that over anything we painted, so you would get that glitter and it would sort of finish it off. But I started working with this iridescent white that I found actually by mistake, and it gave it that sheen and a little bit of a sparkle, and it kind of seals it all together. So I went in that direction instead of the glue. So here, this is the iridescent that I'm talking about, and you can see how it's just giving it a little bit of glitter. I think they look really great. They came out exactly how I wanted them, better than I thought. That iridescent white is so nice. So this is what I'm going for, and I think they look really great. Okay, so I wanted to put this on my kitchen table in the same room where my Christmas tree was going to be. So I brought the Father Christmas down, all painted up. I found this candle holder. I don't know what else you call it, but to me it looked like a church. I wanted to get rid of that candle. And I found that, these trees when I was thrifting, and I love those colors. I just liked how neutral they were, and I was like, okay, I want to go for a calmer, neutral theme in my kitchen, because my kitchen is very white, and it's going to be in front of that painting that I did last year. So I brought the bulbs that I got, and I got this, I guess, battery operated lights. I'm finding these at Target, And you can, and then that's the tree I was going to put in the center. So, and I had already had that tray. I'm always picking up trays, but I already had this one. So I just want to create a scene with all of these guys. And I put this tree that I found thrifting inside of there, and I wanted to keep it. I thought the candle was too bulky for in there that it came with. I love how the light shines through it during the day, and then at night I'm going to stick a light in there, and I'll do that for you later, but I don't want to take up time. And I just like how this wooden tree is working with all these other types of trees. And I think it's fun that they're different textures, different heights. And I feel like it gives it more of that random sort of forest feel. And that's kind of what I'm going is like, I did a forest theme with my mantle. I'm sort of incorporating trees and everything that I'm going to be putting around. And so I'm just putting the Father Christmases, or they could look like wise men also. I just thought they were so neat looking. So I'm just kind of building this scene out, and where the empty spaces are, I'm not going to add snow in this because I don't really feel like it needs it. And I'm just going to stick the lights in there. I'm going to work on it a little bit more later, but for now, just to give you the idea of how it's going to look, I'm actually going to wrap them around that tree. But for now, I just want to show you how it's going to fit in there and look. And then I'm going to, wherever there's empty spaces, I'm going to use those gold bulbs so it will reflect the light around, and it'll also just look really pretty. It'll cover up any empty spaces. Even though the tray is metallic, I just like the extra bulbs going around. I just think it's a fun way to fill up trays. So I think it's looking really good. And like I said, I love the way that it looks like a church to me, or a house. It just looks like a neat scene, and I love how the light works in there. So that's how it's going to look during the day. And you can see, I'm just making sure I got all the stickers off, because usually when I film I find stickers, but it's looking really good. And I just think it picks up the color of our kitchens, because we have a lot of cream and whites in there, and it goes against the painting, and then the lights from the window, it just looks so pretty through that candle holder house looking type thing. I think it looks really good. And there it is. I wrapped the tree with the lights, and I just think it looks so pretty. At night it really looks nice. It just gives a really beautiful glow, and it just kind of warms up that area. And my mantle is kind of a foresty theme, more natural, so it kind of all just blends. And so I was really pleased about that. So, and this is what it looks like from a distance, and I love the way it came together. I think it looks so pretty. For my next craft, it was going to be going in my dining room, and I wanted to try an Advent, and I saw these at Hobby Lobby and decided to give it a try. I'm always picking up extra trees, and this is a thrift store I go to a lot. They had quite a bit. So I just was filling up my basket with these trees thinking I could use them, and you can use these anywhere. And I'm always picking up extra bulbs, like I said, and just kind of scouring to see what I needed, and they had a lot of good trees on the top, so I picked up a few more of those. And just, anything else I thought I might need. All right, I wanted to do an Advent, so I was doing some research. I love, English Christmas markets in Europe. So I wanted to pick up that theme, and I love this one. I love the way they're doing the beams on the houses. I think it makes it just look so Christmassy and vintagey. I just love that look. So here I am painting it, just giving it a white base, and this is the color scheme I'm going in. I'm going to use a lot of browns. Even that pink I'm using, I'm going to blend it with brown, so it looks a little bit more toned down than, say, like I did the Father Christmases. I'm going to kind of keep it a little bit more in the brown family to look like a real village. All right, so here I am just sort of mapping out the paint. So the idea with this is that it was going to look like a building, not so much a house, but like stores on the bottom and, apartments on the top, like you would find in an English village. So I'm just trying to map out how it's going to go, how the beams are going to work eventually, and just how I'm going to use it. As I was working, like I said, it was peeling a little bit. The pressed, I think it's called like cordboard, I'm not really sure, was peeling off, and I was finding that the doors were really flimsy. So I quickly learned this isn't going to be functional as an Advent calendar. We actually I love having Advent calendars around our house. I do them for my daughter, but this one wasn't going to work. It's just too flimsy. But I did like the way it looked, and I still want to use it as a decoration. Just I don't know if I would recommend this one to anybody. So I'm just mapping out the beams and, trying to get more detail and seeing if they're going to work, adding some gold to those knobs and just trying to figure out how this is all going to work out. And so far I'm really liking it. Now I just want to add more detail and, just make the windows, significant, but not, I don't want to make it too realistic. I just want to, it's going to be kind of a loose, I don't like cartoony, but maybe more like an illustration of a little town, if that makes sense. But anyway, I'm just kind of going around and giving it the detail that I want with the windows. And I like the way the colors work. They're warm. They're going to fit in that, the area that I want them to go into. So that's all I'm doing is I'm just keep making sure I'm getting it. And it's one of these things you just have to keep going back. I do. I'm not really precise, so I have to just keep going back and making sure I'm getting everything. And the top section there where it's white, I wanted to do a scene, and I'll show you later. I'm going to add some more trees up there. But for now, I'm still concentrating down here. And it's coming together. I think it's looking a little better. So I just needed to add some snow to the roof. And I don't want to, I'm just going to make it kind of painted. I'm not going to, you can add like the snowflakes, and I do it in another craft, but here I didn't think it needed it. I wanted to keep it kind of basic and just adding more detail to the top before I start finishing out that area. And it's looking pretty good. And then I just think I'm just cleaning things up. I think I could be cleaning up forever because I don't think it's never done. I'm always seeing things. And then I'm putting the iridescent white that I used on the Father Christmases, and just to give it that sheen and to finish it off before I go on to the next phase. And I'm just like giving it a once over. And there's the trees that I was talking about. I just want to fill them up there. And I'll add some light over it, when I put it where I put it. Oh, and then I got these little wreaths from Hobby Lobby, and I painted they came with red bows. I painted them gold so they didn't distract too much or didn't add a new color. And I think I actually think it's looking really cute. It has that building feel that I wanted. So this craft is going in my dining room, and this is our buffet. And in about 5 days, this room's going to be painted, and it's going to be painted like a stone kind of blue color. So it's going to be a lot lighter. But I wanted to get my decoration all figured out and put into a box, so when they're done painting, I can just put it up. But as you see, I'm using all of the trees that I got, these houses that I'm going to put lights in, and I didn't paint them because they kind of fit with that neutral theme. There's the Advent, and I think it's looking so cute. I added numbers, but I think I'm going to paint over them since we're not going to really use it as an Advent. There's the trees, and I think they look so cute up there. I love that scene. Those I don't think I did a good job with, but they're not obnoxious enough yet to paint over them, but I will in a little bit. And I think this is looking so pretty. I love the differences of the trees. I love that some are snow, some are pink, some are metallic. And I think it looks really pretty in that space. And it's very simple. And I love that about it. And I think it fills up the space, and it does have that village feel that I was going for. And I feel it's working as a theme. It's working with the other areas of the house. So I think, and I did paint the side. I didn't show you that. And I painted the roof. I gave it a little bit more detail. And I think I really love the brown colors, and I'm going to work on those numbers, but it's not a big enough deal to bother me right now. So I think it came together really nicely. And at night, this is how it's going to look. I'm actually going to put lights in those other little aluminum homes, and then I put those battery operated lights over it, the fairy lights, and I think it looks so pretty. So when we're eating, if we can actually get in there in time for Christmas, it's gonna be a really nice, warm, sort of cozy look over in that corner. And I think it's looking really pretty. And excuse the mess around it, but I love how those lights are working in those houses. They're so simple. I think I got both of those aluminum houses one at the thrift store, and that one right there, the taller one, at the dollar store. And they really have an impact when you put the lights in them. So I think it looks really pretty. It does have that English vibe that I'm going for. It's simple. I didn't do a lot of detail, but I like that about it. So I think this craft came together, and I think it's going to work with the other craft that I'm about to show you. And the Christmas decorations are going together like I wanted. So I think this is a success. For my last craft, I wanted to do something for the table right next to where my Christmas tree was. So I went to Joann's and I found these birdhouses. This was a craft I used to do with my students. We used to get these birdhouses and turn them into candy houses, but I wanted to turn mine into an English village. So I was just looking around, and there's so many different directions you could go, but I chose this one since I wanted to make it look more village-like. So I got this guy and a few others, and you'll see in a minute how I put those together. And then I found this tray. I thought this was so cute. I didn't have to do anything to it. It was just an interesting shape. And this is the direction I'm going. All these cute little houses, and I thought they're just so sweet. I love the colors, and I just love how it just has that village feel. Love the colors here. That's more the direction I want to go. And I just thought, I like how the trees and the color and the snow all work together. It's just such a quaint, cozy feel. All right, so the first step is, you're going to get your palette out, get everything lined up. I'm going to actually glue that on top, do a little extension, a little work on these houses, and those are the palette I use. That's a steak knife because I'm going to cut off those little pegs, and your paint brushes, of course. And the wood is really, it's really easy to get off with that steak knife. And you're going to want to cut those where you're going to hang the birdhouse to get rid of that string, and just work off those little pegs. It's really easy to do. And I had a little bit of an accident on one. I guess I pulled it and I got a hole. I'll show you in a little bit. Yeah, right there, but I'll fix that in the next step. So you're just going to prime your house so the paint will go on. It won't soak into the wood so much. This just gives it a good base, so you don't have to do too many coats of your paint after this, and seals it all in. And then you're just going to start working out, or what I'm doing here is I'm just mapping out the color, what I want. And these are the colors that I have in my Christmas tree, lots of like light colors. It's kind of more vintage. And I'm going to go ahead and do the back because I might put this in the center of a table one year, but right now it's going against a wall, but I'm just going to go ahead and finish it while I've got it. So that's what it's looking like. And I'm going to go ahead and just paint the roof brown color because I want the snow to sort of contrast. All right, you see where the holes are. Normally I leave those with my students, but this year I wanted to cover them up. What I have here is, that's linseed oil I use with my oil paint, and I want to use the top because it's just the right shape, and that's something I got from my bank. It's just like a lightweight cardboard, and that's all you need. And I was too lazy to go to Joann's, so I got this, and I just traced the windows, and I just counted out as much as I needed, and then went ahead and cut them. You can also use like a back of a magazine if it's thick, or a cereal box, anything like that. Or you could just go to Joann's if you wanted. I just didn't want to take another trip. So I'm just going to go ahead and paint, glue them over all of the holes. And so it's looking like that. And then I also did one for that little mistake I made over there. I pulled the peg a little too hard. I'm just gonna go ahead and paste it there. And I'm gonna go ahead and just paint the rest of the doors. But for that, I wanted to seal it up. I'm painting all of my windows and making sure those look good. And just that might change. But for now, I felt like I wanted the window panes to kind of pop. So I went a darker color. And yeah, so I'm just kind of cleaning it up and finishing up the roof and all of that. And it's looking good. I like the color anyway. So here I am. I'm just going to add my doors, and just kind of moving along and trying to make sure I'm mixing the color enough. It's going to change. I think I put a door there, but it was like way too small, so I think I made it a window down the road. But for now, it's a door. It'll change. And then so just making sure I'm moving the color and it looks balanced. But I'm thinking it's looking really good. And I don't mind that that house is kind of slanted. I think it looks comical. No one is going to live in these, so I have a little bit of a leeway there. I think it just looks kind of humorous. So I'm just continuing on moving the color around, making sure I know where all the little windows go, and just mapping it out, like I like to say. And I think it's looking really good. I really do like those colors. My Christmas tree has vintage, I don't know, I guess it's more like 50s kind of colors, and this will go really nicely with it. And it's in the same room where I put those Father Christmas kind of wise men, so these colors will all work together. So I'm just adding more windows and I'm moving along, and that's the fun part. I just like kind of just figuring out the scene and laying it down when you don't have to be so precious. And then when you go in for detail, I get a little bit more, I don't know. This part's just the fun part, laying it out. The detail, it just makes me a little bit, not anxious, but you have to be a little bit more careful. All right, so I love adding these beams because it feels like it's such a European look, more so than in America. So I feel like that's kind of key to make it feel like a more European market. So I'm just adding those and outlining the windows to make them pop a little bit. And we'll see if that kind of, yeah, it works. I think it's kind of needs that finishing touch. And then I'll just keep going in and adding more detail. I'm adding shingles to the roof because I think that's a good look. And I'm using those acrylic pens, which I love. I could not do this kind of detail without it. It's just, I don't know where I'd be without these pens. They really help me with lettering and all of that. So I'm just continuing on with that. And then I'm just, adding more detail and making sure everything is, it's coming together, a little bit more, and it's looking pretty good to me. I like the way the beams are working. I think that really worked out. And you can see where I had that tiny little pink door. It's now a window. I'm going to finish the back. I'm going to not spend too much time, but just in case, I put it somewhere where you are going to walk around. So now I'm adding the snow, and I'm just going to paint it because I'm actually going to glue some of that snow that I bought, but I just want to map out where it's going and just get an idea of it, and kind of put it on the all around, so just to have an idea. So this step, you're going to need your your glue and your iridescent. I'm going to put that over the house, your glitter glue, and you don't have to have sparkles in it, but just some kind of glue, and white paint, and your snow, and we're going to glue it on. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just getting everything laid out so I know where everything's going. The first thing I wanted to do was to go ahead and put the iridescent paint all over it. It looks like it's got a glare from the sun, but it calms down. And then I'm using the the glitter glue because I really like that sparkle. You don't have to, but I'm not going to use lights here, so I like a little bit of the sparkle because I'm not going to, like I said, add lights. So it gives a little bit of that glimmer, and it's going to reflect off of the lights from my Christmas tree. So that's going to look good. I've got these little wreaths at Hobby Lobby, and I didn't like the red bows, so I painted them pink because I thought they would contrast too much with the house. And I am going to glue those on all over the house and just to finish it up, give it a little bit more character. And there it is. And the next thing we have to do is just put it all together. So we've got the trees that I bought from the thrift store, more snow, and I found this at Target, and I thought it would look so good with this. I was gonna glue it actually on the tray, but I decided I like that tray too much. So and I didn't have to paint it. It's just ready to go. It just kind of one of those things where it just fit perfectly. All right, so I'm just going to put it together. So you just get your house and you just start building your scene around it, and it's super easy because the trees just fill in those gaps, and you can just kind of just start working it around and seeing how you like it the best. And eventually I'll add snow in there, but I just want to get everything set up and add all those different types of trees and wherever they fit in this little vignette, and that's looking pretty good to me. So then I'm going to add the snow and just fill it in there, and since it's the tray has a nice thick, I guess, lid around it, lip around it, I should say. The snow's not going to fall out, and it's just so simple and sweet, and it was just a few thrifted items, and there is that garland that I love, and here's where it's going to be on a table right next to our Christmas tree, and I love how that looks. Normally we don't do anything on this table, so I'm glad we addressed it this year, and I think it is going to be so pretty. I love how the pinks and all those pastel colors are working. It's very simple, but yet there's a lot to look at, and it's all it's in harmony with the rest of the room, and I think it's going to look really pretty there. And we used to just kind of use that table that collected everything that we didn't decorate. It would just kind of go on there, and so I'm glad we did something with this table, and it's going to look really, really pretty next to our tree. I think it looks really great. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed the video and my crafts. Please keep checking back. I have a lot more stuff coming up, and please subscribe if you haven't. It really helps my channel, and I really appreciate those of you who have. And I will see you guys the next time. Have a great week.